Caitlin Clark effect, skyrockets, WNBA draft prices, Indiana fever, claps back. Ticket prices for the WNBA draft jumped from a modest $50 to nearly $100, doubling within the span of a single season. At first, everyone from casual fans to sports analysts chalked it up to an over-enthusiastic marketing push, or maybe the promise of big-name college stars transitioning into the pros. But there's a deeper truth behind this sudden spike, one that might rattle the core of women's professional basketball. Because the real reason folks are shelling out serious cash for a seat at the draft has everything to do with a single player who isn't even in this year's draft class, Caitlin Clark. Let's get one thing straight. Paige Bueckers is amazing, Angel Reese is a phenomenon, and plenty of other collegiate standouts have turned heads this season. But none of them have single-handedly ignited this level of frenzied excitement. An excitement so intense, it forced the WNBA to monetize an event that, until very recently, didn't even allow fans through the doors. Last season, the draft audience mostly comprised families, select sponsors, and the teams themselves. This year, lower-tier tickets started at $99, if you could even get one before they sold out. Premium packages, going for much more, are nearly gone too. Fans are paying top dollar just to occupy the same space as a league that's been radically transformed by the Clark effect. The Clark effect, how it started. Before we dissect the ticket frenzy, let's rewind to where the Clark effect truly began. Caitlin Clark, fresh off a stellar collegiate run, made headlines for her uncanny shooting range, highlight reel plays, and a knack for stirring up chatter, both good and bad. She became a household name almost overnight, drawing comparisons to NBA legends who'd once carried their entire league on their shoulders. It wasn't just about the points she scored. It was the flair, the confidence, and that intangible it factor. People who had never watched a single WNBA game suddenly found themselves tuning in, eager to see this phenomenon who was breaking records and ankles with equal ease. Sports. Talk shows debated her impact daily. Was she overhyped? Was she saving women's basketball? Everyone had an opinion. Ticket prices. A glimpse into the new normal. The most tangible proof of the Clark effect's impact came during this year's draft announcements. Traditionally, the WNBA draft had been a modest affair. Even in years when big-name collegiate athletes were transitioning into the league, like when Breanna Stewart went pro, or when Sabrina Ionescu generated waves, there had never been such a dramatic push to charge for tickets. It was often an industry event. You'd have the draftees and their families, coaching staffs, key sponsors, maybe a smattering of lucky fans invited by the league. The rest watched from home if they watched at all. Then came the new normal. Almost. Overnight, rumors began circulating that the WNBA was going to sell draft tickets to the public. Fans laughed off the notion at first. Who'd pay to watch the draft in person? They quipped, but the league rolled the dice and announced tickets would be available, starting at nearly $99 a seat. And in a twist that stunned observers, they sold out in record time. The frenzy of new fans. And what they mean. If you glance around the stands, you'll notice faces you've never seen at WNBA events before. Teenagers wearing custom Caitlin Clark jerseys, families road tripping from neighboring states, even casual sports fans who admit they'd never watched a women's basketball game in their lives. Until now. The league's demographic had broadened in a matter of months, and with that shift came a tsunami of social media interest. Suddenly, TikTok was awash with clips of Clark's best moments, comedic sketches about her shooting range, and day in the life vlogs from brand new WNBA fans. Twitter architects had never seen so many trending topics linked to the WNBA outside of the finals. The conversation was no longer confined to niche sports boards or small fan communities. It was mainstream, front and center. The locker room whispers. Brewing resentments behind every meteoric rise in sports, there's a locker room dynamic that can't be ignored. For a league like the WNBA, composed of talented athletes who've battled for recognition and fair pay, the arrival of a new face overshadowing everyone else can provoke complicated feelings. In interviews, many veterans praised Caitlin Clark, celebrating her ability to bring fresh eyes to the game. But if you listened closely, certain remarks carried a subtle undertone of resentment or skepticism. Here's the crux of that tension. The WNBA has historically struggled with low attendance, minimal broadcasting deals, and overshadowing by major men's leagues. Players who've been around for years, stars in their own right, fought tooth and nail to elevate women's basketball to a respectable position. Now that money and attention are flooding in, it sometimes seems that credit is going to a single new star. Angel Reese, known for her candor, openly questioned how none of this hype existed before Clark's arrival, implying that the rest of the league had been ignored despite their own impressive accomplishments. Social media showdowns, the Indiana Fever take center stage. No team has weaponized social media quite like the Indiana Fever. Already, their Twitter X admin has become a minor celebrity in the sports world for issuing hilarious, biting commentary on the swirl of scheduling conflicts around the league. Multiple teams have been caught making suspicious venue upgrades or moves whenever the Fever come to town, moves suspiciously timed to coincide with the arrival of Caitlin Clark. The Fever's admin has basically turned the entire situation into a running joke, mocking rival franchises for dancing around the real reason they're shifting to bigger arenas. They want that sweet revenue from Clark's fandom. Posts with a single word, Clark, accompanied by a sly wink, have gained thousands of likes and retweets. Memes featuring opposing teams claiming unavoidable scheduling conflicts while showing images of Clark overshadowing smaller venues have gone viral. The arena upgrades. A not-so-hidden agenda as the Fever admin so gleefully pointed out. Multiple WNBA teams are relocating certain matchups to larger venues. The official statements mention better fan experiences, more comfortable seating, or even logistical necessities. However, the timing is uncanny. Whenever the Fever are scheduled to play, suddenly these bigger arenas become miraculously available. TD Garden for a regular season WNBA game, the United Center hosting more than just a one-off event. These changes used to be a pipe dream. Historically, WNBA franchises often shared venues with NBA teams, but rarely had the capacity or demand to justify filling the seats. Now, with Clark. As the headliner for away games, teams are testing the waters and discovering that fans are more than willing to travel, pay, and pack the house for a chance to see her in action. Behind the scenes, a league at war with itself. While fans bicker on social media and fill up new stadiums, the WNBA's higher-ups face a more existential issue: how to convert all this Clark-driven hype into stable, long-term growth. The league has historically depended on external funding and partnerships to stay afloat. Television deals, though improving, still lag behind men's sports in terms of revenue. Salaries, despite incremental increases, remain a fraction of what male counterparts earn. Enter Caitlin Clark, a marketing juggernaut. If the WNBA can keep fans engaged beyond her personal brand, it could rewrite its future. Sponsors might invest more heavily, broadcasting deals might become more lucrative, and players could see significant salary boosts. Yet, it's not guaranteed. The WNBA also faces potential backlash if it appears to revolve solely around one player. The brand risks becoming too Clark-centric, alienating other stars and their fan bases. The unfinished draft drama. Why this year matters. So we circle back to the draft itself. Even though Paige Buchers has headlined countless highlight reels, Angel Reese has fueled storylines with her outspokenness, and other collegiate stars are about to realize their pro dreams, the largest segment of chatter still ties back to Caitlin Clark. Fans who spent upwards of $90 per ticket, and in some cases even more for premium seating, make no secret of the real reason they want to be in that venue. Some are convinced Clark might show up for a surprise appearance or cameo. Others just want to be part of the electric atmosphere she's inadvertently created. This has overshadowed many of the draftees, who might otherwise be the focal point of the entire evening. Sports analysts acknowledge it's a bizarre dynamic. Usually a draft event is about the incoming talent, the next generation of stars who will shape the league. But in this WNBA draft, the star of the show is someone not even eligible this time around. A league changed forever, the WNBA, stands at a crossroads. On one path, Caitlin Clark's rise fuels a long overdue boom in viewership, sponsorships, and cultural relevance. New fans keep coming, teams adapt to bigger venues, and the league finally transitions from niche to mainstream. On the other path, reliance on a single superstar backfires. Other talents feel neglected, controversies escalate, and the hype bubble bursts if Clark's shine ever dims. For now, the only certainty is that the league has changed, irrevocably so. Just look at the packed draft event, the jaw-dropping ticket prices, and the wave of brand new fans who can't get enough WNBA content. Even comedic stories of celebrities freezing when they meet Clark highlight the shift. The WNBA is no longer a footnote in American sports. It's in the spotlight. And that spotlight, for better or worse, has Caitlin Clark at its center. So if you're still on the fence about tuning in, now's the time. You'll either witness the birth of a new golden era for women's basketball, or watch as the tension boils over in real time. Either way, the seats are filling fast, the conversation is getting louder, and the world of women's sports may never be the same again, all because of one player who isn't even on the draft board this year.